Maya came back from Jamaica like someone who left more than just luggage behind. Her skin glowed like warm honey. Her braids were fresh and tight, and she carried this easy kind of joy that didn't ask for permission. She laughed louder, played her music louder. Her hips moved like they still had that island rhythm in them. Even her walk changed, looser, lighter, like something had been unlocked. Dear Andre Cole noticed. He noticed everything, not because he was insecure, but because he knew her habits, her moods, the way she bit her lip when she was lying. And now, that same woman who used to fall asleep mid-Netflix was wide awake at night, texting with a little grin on her face, and her phone screen tilted just enough out of his line of sight. Just me and Tanya laughing, she said one night when he asked. He nodded, said nothing, but inside his gut started whispering. Tanya Reid had been Maya's ride or die since nursing school. Loud, loyal, and always 2 sips ahead of too much wine. Andre never really had an issue with her, until that night. Maya was in the living room, glass of Moscato in one hand, phone on speaker, giggling like a teenager. Andre was in the hallway, just out of sight, tightening a loose screw on the thermostat. That's when he heard it. Girl, Tanya laughed. I still can't believe your knees gave out like that after the second massage. That man had you speaking in tongues. Maya snorted. Please don't remind me. I almost had to crawl back to the resort. I thought I needed physical therapy. They both howled with laughter. Andre froze, screwdriver in hand. The words echoed in his chest like a slow drumbeat. He felt it, not in his head, but in the pit of his stomach. That old, unshakable feeling that something was happening behind your back while you were out here trying to hold things together. He walked back into the kitchen like he hadn't heard a thing, kissed her on the cheek. She smiled at him like nothing in the world was wrong. But something was. And deep down he knew, whatever it was, it had already started. He just hadn't caught up to it yet. The thing about betrayal is, it doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it sits in the back of your mind, quiet as dust, waiting for a reason to move again. Andre Cole remembered the first Jamaica trip. Clear as day. That was a year ago. Maya had gone with a different set of friends back then. Some nurses she used to work with. It was a self-care getaway, she called it. A weekend to unwind, drink rum by the ocean, and hit the spa. He didn't question it. At that time, they were in a good place. Bills paid. The girls doing well in school. Sunday dinners at her mama's house. He kissed her goodbye at the airport, told her to have fun, and picked her up 4 days later with flowers and a smile. She came back tanned and tired, but happy. Said the trip was amazing. Talked about the food, the beach, the music, everything but the people. That part stood out now. In hindsight, it stood out a lot. He remembered that 2 weeks after she came back. He started feeling off. It started with a weird itch, then a burning sensation that had him wincing in the bathroom. He knew what it was. It didn't take long for the doctor to confirm it. Chlamydia. It was minor, sure. 1 round of antibiotics, and he was cleared up, but the real infection wasn't in his body. It was in his mind. He brought it up to Maya, awkward, quiet, almost embarrassed. She stared at him like he was speaking a language she didn't know. What? Me? No, that had to be something else. She swore up and down she hadn't been with anyone else. Said it might have come from a public toilet or some kind of mix-up at the clinic. You know those doctors ain't always careful, she said, brushing it off like lint on a jacket. Andre wanted to believe her. He needed to believe her. He'd made his share of mistakes back when they first got together. Hadn't always been a perfect man. Maybe this was karma catching up to him. So he let it go. At least, that's what he told himself. But now, after hearing that phone call, after seeing her laughing like that, after hearing the word second massage, the memory came rushing back like heat through old wounds. What if she was lying then? What if the STD wasn't random, but a receipt? Andre sat in his car that night, parked outside their house. Engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel. The girls were inside. Maya was inside. And all he could hear in his head was that voice from a year ago saying, "Baby, it's nothing. You probably picked it up somewhere else." But he hadn't. And now he wasn't sure what else he'd picked up that he hadn't seen yet. It was a regular Thursday evening when Andre's phone lit up with a message from someone he hadn't heard from in months. Tanya Reed, Maya's best friend. Loud-mouthed, loyal, and always in the middle of the laughter. Now she was sliding into his inbox like a ghost out the dark. At first, he thought maybe she meant to message Maya. But when he opened it, he froze. 3 videos. No greeting. No context. Just a message beneath them. I used to think you knew the person you married. Guess not. Andre sat back on the couch, phone trembling in his hand. He didn't move for a long moment. Just stared at the thumbnails, each one frozen mid-scene like a dare. The first clip, he tapped slow. The screen filled with a hotel room. Soft lighting. Clean white sheets. And Maya, clear as day, in the lap of a man with thick dreads and nothing on but boxers. She was wearing a satin robe, barely tied, her braids tumbling down her back. She laughed, kissed his neck, rolled her hips in rhythm. Andre's mouth went dry. He watched it again just to be sure it was her. Not just the face, the laugh, the way she leaned in close like the man was hers. The second clip, same room, different man. This one had a gold chain and tattoos across his chest. Maya sat beside him on the bed, rubbing oil into his shoulders, whispering something low. Then she climbed into his lap. No hesitation. Just ease. Familiarity. Andre pressed pause and leaned forward, elbows on his knees, phone dangling in his hand like it had burned him. His pulse was loud in his ears. His jaw clenched. He hadn't even touched the 3rd video yet, but something in him already knew. It had to be worse. He tapped it anyway. This one was at the resort spa. Maya was face down on a massage table, barely covered by a towel the size of a napkin. A massage therapist, tall, muscular, was working her inner thighs slowly. She moaned, turned her head to the side, and said, "Don't stop, baby. Go lower." The towel slipped. She didn't reach for it. Andre slammed the phone face down on the table, his breath coming in short gasps. His entire body was hot. He stood up, paced the living room, walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge, closed it. Nothing made sense. Nothing felt real. He picked the phone back up and stared at Tanya's message again. "I used to think you knew the person you married. Guess not." He typed back, "Why would you send this to me?" The reply came quick. "Because she got slick with her mouth. Told me I was jealous. Said she was just having fun and needed it. So you might as well know who you're living with." Andre read the message 3 times. So this wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal layered in casual arrogance. She hadn't slipped. She hadn't fallen into it by mistake. She chose it, lived in it, bragged about it. And Tanya, her so-called best friend, waited until a fallout to expose it. He sank onto the couch, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. 3 videos, 3 men, and not a single ounce of remorse. Not a single tear, no apology, no explanation. Just laughter, moaning, oil, and lies. Andre sat there for hours, not moving, not speaking, not thinking straight. Just playing those videos in his mind on a loop until they stopped feeling like strangers and started feeling like memories, like pieces of his life that were stolen while he wasn't looking. The worst part? She came home like nothing happened, kissed him, hugged their daughters, slept beside him with a clean conscience. And all that time, she knew what she did. Now, so did he? Andre didn't say anything the night he got the videos. Didn't scream. Didn't wake the girls. He just sat on the couch in the dark. Those 3 videos burned into his eyes like someone had branded him with truth. All night. He stared at the ceiling, listening to her soft breathing from the bedroom, wondering how a person could lie beside you with that much peace after doing something so loud. The next morning, Maya moved like everything was normal. Made coffee, played some slow gospel on her phone, wore her scrubs like armor, twisting her braids into a bun at the back of her head. She looked beautiful, confident, the same woman he married, but somehow not. She was on her way out the door when he finally said it. "You got something to tell me?" She froze with the keys, turned slow. What's that supposed to mean? He stood in the hallway, arms crossed, phone in hand. He didn't need to shout. The truth was already louder than both of them. Tanya sent me the videos. Her face didn't change. Not one flinch, not one gasp. Oh, that's all she said. Oh. He stepped forward. 3 of them, Maya. Not one mistake. Not one moment. 3. That ain't nothing. She exhaled hard through her nose and set her purse down on the counter, like she was too tired for the drama. It was just fun. His eyebrows twitched. Fun. Yeah, a massage. A little play. I didn't catch feelings. It wasn't that deep. You were straddling folks in a hotel room and moaning at strangers in a spa, he snapped. That ain't no massage. That's none of your business, she cut in, calm but sharp. What I did was for me. I needed to feel something. Needed to remember I'm still young. Still wanted. He stared at her. So you throw away your family for what? Attention? She rolled her eyes. Don't do that, Andre. Don't act brand new. You forgot who cheated first. He froze. What? You. When we were dating. You think I forgot about Lisa from the tire shop? Or the girl you swore was just a cousin? Nah, you broke that trust first. I just moved past it. She looked at him like he was the one who owed her something. Let it go, she said, picking up her coffee. Those 3 words slid down his throat like glass. Let it go. The room was quiet. The girls were still sleeping. The world outside was turning like nothing had shifted. But Andre's whole spine was pulsing. Let it go, he repeated, almost whispering. You think this is the same? I made my mistakes, but I never brought no videos home. Never gave you no disease. Maya's eyes narrowed. What? That STD last year. He said, I let that slide. Believed your little story about the clinic or a toilet seat. But now I know better. She laughed. Laughed. You still on that? You was just in Jamaica the first time. Came back 2 weeks later. I catch something. And now I see who you really was down there. She looked away, jaw tightening, coffee mug trembling just slightly. Andre stepped closer. Tell the truth, Maya. Did you cheat on me that first trip too? She didn't say anything. Didn't nod. Didn't shake her head. Just stood there sipping her coffee, like the room wasn't collapsing. That silence told him everything. He felt his hands curl into fists at his sides. Not from rage, but from hurt. That deep, twisted kind of pain you feel when someone you love spits in your face with a smile. You could have told me, he said quietly. I might have worked through it. I might have forgiven you. But you came home, kissed our daughters, slept in our bed, and lied to me. Twice. Maya finally set the mug down and met his eyes. I'm not perfect. You knew that, but you always acted like you were some saint. You're not, Andre. And if we go and start pulling up dirt, best believe yours don't smell like roses. He blinked slow. There it was. She didn't care. Not really. Not about the pain. Not about the risk. Not about what it might have cost them. And for the first time in years, he saw her not as the woman he loved, but as someone who had already let go of him a long time ago. She picked her purse back up and grabbed her keys. I got a double shift, she said. We can talk later. Then she walked out the door. Just like that. It had been a week since Andre confronted her. 7 full days of pretending. Pretending things were fine. Pretending they were still partners. Pretending the house didn't feel like a coffin they were both quietly dying in. He tried to bury it, to swallow it like medicine, but the taste kept rising back up. The videos, her laughter, the shrug, the words, let it go. It played in his mind like background music on a loop. This particular morning, the girls were already at school. Their backpacks still hung by the door, and their cereal bowls sat rinsed in the sink. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Andre walked into their bedroom to find Maya packing a weekend bag. Her scrubs were folded, makeup kit zipped, edges of Victoria's Secret bra peeked from the corner of her clothes. Work trip? He asked, leaning against the doorway. She didn't look up. Double shift. I'll stay over at the nurse's lounge between rounds. Less driving. He watched her zip the bag. You going back to him? He asked. She stopped. Back to who? The one from the spa? Or the one in the hotel room? Or maybe the one with the tattoos? Hell, pick a name. I've seen all three now. Maya rolled her eyes and turned to face him. Still with that? You gave me something, Maya, he said, stepping into the room, and then lied about it, sat across from me at the clinic, and blamed it on a toilet seat. She crossed her arms. And yet you're still here. That landed like a slap. Andre's chest rose, fell slowly. You think this is about staying, he said. This is about the truth, about the fact that you dragged me through your dirt, and then dare me to complain about the stains. Maya shook her head. You want a prize for being faithful for 9 years after what you did when we were dating? Don't make me laugh. He stepped closer. I told you I was wrong back then. You forgave me. He paused. Or so I thought. Yeah, and I thought you were a man who could take what he dished out. She picked up her bag and started to walk past him. He blocked the doorway. Move, Andre. No, not this time. He was calm, but not cold. Something in his voice cracked just enough to sound like a warning. Maya sighed and set the bag down with a thud. You want to fight? Fine, let's fight. Yeah, I cheated twice. So what? I didn't love them. Didn't plan it. Didn't run off and abandon my family. I came back every time. She stepped closer, seething. You think you're some martyr 'cause you didn't film it? You think you're better than me? I was better than this, he said. Better than someone who could smile in my face and lie for a whole year. I did what I had to do to feel alive. She snapped. Andre, this house, these kids, that job, it's drowning me. And you just sit there with your quiet little routines acting like that's love. It was love, he said, until you killed it. Silence fell between them, the kind of silence that felt like someone else had walked into the room and shut the air off. Then she said it, the final flick of the match. You so broken over me getting mine, but you ain't asked yourself why I had to go get it. You ever think maybe you were the problem? Andre's eyes scanned the room, and then he saw it. That vase. It sat on the hallway table by the bedroom door. A gift from her aunt. Ceramic. Floral. Pointless. Just something to fill space. He didn't plan it. Didn't think. His hand moved before his brain did. One swing. One sound. A sickening crack that echoed through the drywall like a gunshot. Maya dropped to the floor. Her body hit the carpet with a thud that made the house feel still. Unnaturally still. The vase shattered in his hand. A sharp piece sliced his thumb. But he didn't notice. Didn't feel the pain. Just looked down at her. She wasn't moving. Blood seeped into the fibers of the rug. Slow. Dark. Final. Andre dropped what was left of the vase and stumbled back like he was waking up from a dream. His chest heaved. His ears rang. He looked at her face. Her eyes still open, wide with shock, mouth slightly parted like she was about to say something. But no words came. No breath. Nothing. He didn't run. Didn't try to clean it up or hide the evidence. He picked up the phone and called 911. My wife, he said. I think I killed her bad. The operator kept talking, but he couldn't hear. He sat on the front steps, hands covered in blood, staring into the distance. And when the siren started, he didn't flinch. The neighbors came out of their houses. But Andre Cole, he just sat there, waiting to be taken, waiting for the weight of it all, to catch up. When the girls got off the school bus, they didn't run toward the house like they usually did. They froze. Flashing red and blue lights bounced off the windows. An ambulance idled out front, back doors wide open. Police cars lined the curb like a scene from someone else's nightmare. And their father, Andre Cole, was sitting on the front steps in handcuffs. His head was bowed. Blood stained his hands and shirt. He didn't even look up as the girl screamed. A neighbor ran to hold the youngest. The oldest tried to run inside, but an officer stopped her at the porch, gently guiding her back. Inside, Maya lay motionless on the floor. Paramedics worked fast, voices low but urgent. The blood had soaked through the carpet, and her breathing was shallow, barely there. The ambulance pulled off minutes later. One of the medics shook his head before closing the doors. Andre didn't say a word. Not when they put him in the back of the cruiser. Not when the girls cried out his name. Just silence. At the hospital, doctors said Maya had severe cranial trauma. Fractured skull, internal bleeding, swelling in the brain. They ran tests, monitored pressure, hooked her up to wires and machines that beeped in steady, fragile rhythm. But she never woke up. Not that day. Not the next. Not the one after that. The word they used was coma. The word they didn't say was if. If she'd come back. If she'd remember. If she'd even be herself. Her mother sat by her side day and night. The girls came once, but couldn't stop crying. They drew her pictures, hearts and rainbows, and taped them to the wall beside her bed. And through it all, Andre sat in a holding cell down the road, replaying the moment over and over. The swing, the silence, the blood. There were no more arguments now. No more words to twist or truths to bury. Just quiet, the kind that doesn't heal, the kind that haunts. Andre Cole sat behind thick glass, hands cuffed to a cold metal bench. The hum of the county jail settling into his bones like winter. Bond was set at $1 million. He wasn't going anywhere. His court-appointed lawyer told him to stay quiet, told him to act remorseful. Maya was still in a coma. No signs, no blinking, no movement. Just machines doing the work her body could no longer manage on its own. The doctors weren't optimistic, but they weren't pulling the plug either. She was somewhere between living and gone. And every day felt like borrowed time that didn't belong to anyone. Andre hadn't spoken to the girls since his arrest. They were staying with his mother across town. She picked him up that day after the chaos settled, and the front door had been sealed with yellow tape. She didn't ask questions, just brought them home, made them warm food, and held them until they stopped crying. The youngest still asked when Mama was coming home. Nobody had the heart to say maybe never. And then there was Tanya, the best friend, the whistleblower, the one who pulled the pin on the grenade without thinking about where the pieces would land. She hadn't been back to the hospital since the day Maya was admitted. Couldn't bring herself to walk those white halls and look at what was left of the woman she once called a sister. She told a co-worker she regretted sending the videos. Said in a whisper, like a prayer she didn't want heard too loud. I just wanted him to know the truth, she said. I didn't know he'd snap like that. She cried in her car that night. Keys in the ignition, but nowhere to go. Because the truth is, nobody wins when the truth comes too late. Andre's trial date was still weeks away, but the court of public opinion had already decided. Neighbors talked in barbershops and grocery lines. Some blamed Maya. Others blamed Andre. Most just shook their heads and said, damn shame. And through it all, time kept ticking. The girls kept growing. The bed in the ICU stayed occupied. And dear Andre, he waited, not just for his trial, but for something bigger, like maybe justice, or maybe just peace. So now you've heard it all. A love story built on second chances, torn apart by secrets, silence, and one split-second decision that changed everything. Was it betrayal that broke him? Or was the breaking already in him? Waiting for a reason? We want to know what you think. Did Andre cross a line that no amount of pain can justify? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you hold accountable in this case? Maya, Andre, or Tanya? And if this story got under your skin, hit subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and stay close. This is Ruthless Realities. Until next time,